Every time someone tells you the Crusades were an act of unprovoked European aggression, ask them what happened in the 350 years before Pope Urban II stood up at Clermont and called for them.
There's a lot of problems with this video. Now, I want to start off by saying that this is not an attack or dig at the creator. I merely want to attack and respond to this argument and framing of the argument that he lays out, and that's what we're mostly going to be focusing on. The first problem is that the conquest of Jerusalem and North Africa and the Levant did not happen 350 years ago. It happened 461 years ago. Now, this seems kind of pedantic and annoying, but to give you an idea of how long of a time break that is, 461 years ago was the year 1565. From today, June 4th, 2026, the year 1565. Now, I don't know if anybody here has any strong political beliefs about the year 1565, but my guess is probably not, unless like you're a really early modern history or late medieval history nerd. And this is kind of the problem of framing the Crusades and Urban II and the Counts of Clermont around the Islamic conquest. They happened centuries before this is called. And if you want to understand why the Crusades happened and why they are acts of aggression, but not in the way that usually gets framed, we have to actually talk about what's going on in the 11th century. This creator mentions the Battle of Manzikert, where the Byzantines lose to the Seljuks in 1071, but Alexius I Komnenos, who asks for the crusade from the papacy, was not emperor at the time. In fact, he won't be emperor for another 10 plus years. By the time Alexius I is emperor in 1081, the Seljuks control most of Asia Minor, nowadays Turkey, Anatolia. It's actually the reason why there's a Turkification of the country now called Turkey. It begins with the Seljuks. So even the starting from Manzikert is the wrong idea. Alexius I calls the crusade at a time period where the Byzantines are at their military weakest after a period of a revival under the Macedon dynasty. So we have to talk about what's going on in the Christian world in the 1000s, the 11th century. First of all is the Great Schism, where the different churches between the Roman Church and the Church in Constantinople have their split. That's why we have Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. So already the Christian world is a divided world. On top of this, when Urban II is giving his Council of Clermont, he is the third pope at the same time. There's another pope in Rome that is essentially arguing for legitimacy of who is the correct pope. He is called the anti-pope. This is at a time period where the fight between the Holy Roman Empire as appointing popes, the